7, back with another review. And this is another first time blind Hulu watch. It's not part of the Into the Dark series, although I am still going to continue doing those. This is a film from 2020 that I've heard go by two different titles, and it wasn't until I actually started watching it did I realize that they were the same film. I always heard both names separately and thought they were two separate films. And I thought this was a Hulu original. Apparently, this went to theaters, but yeah, it's on Hulu. The premise kind of intrigued me, even though it seemed very unoriginal. It was, hey, it's like this, but done via escape room. And I know there's been a slew of escape room films already. But yeah, this is the film No Escape, also known as Follow Me. Both work. I feel like if this went with the sort of live stream footage that, say, Spree used, which it does in the very beginning of the film, I could see Follow Me really working. Actually, Follow Me works for Spree as well. But No Escape also works. And this movie's basically Saw and Hostel in Russia with an escape room. That's what this movie is. The escape room elements are like Saw, but then it goes directly into Hostel. Like, the second half of the movie is almost a Hostel remake. As far as plot points and story beats from the torture house onward, the only thing that seemed moderately original would be the ending, but even that we've seen before. I didn't see it coming. I like the ending, but this is not a very good movie. Does it deserve the 27% on Rotten Tomatoes? It's in that ballpark for sure. So it was written and directed by Will Wernick. It stars Keegan Allen, Holland Roden, Denzel Whitaker, Ronan Rubinstein, Pasha D. Lynchnikov, George Janko, who I think is actually a YouTuber, and Sia. Not Elastic Heart, Titanium, Veil Over the Face, Sia, Siya, Sia. Music was done by Crystal Grooms Mangiano. When some of the music even sounded like parts from a Saw film. And it's shot like a Saw film. The setting has like that dingy a dungeon cement look. The lighting it's either like these fluorescent floodlights or like that putrid green filter that you see in the earlier Saw films. But it's about this guy, Cole Turner, played by Keegan Allen, who looks remarkably like, let's see what he was in first. Nothing I've seen. But he looks a lot like Doug from the Hangover movies, just as one of his friends, Dash, George Janko, looks like the main asshole in Gutterballs. But Keegan Allen is Cole Turner. He's this guy that for 10 years he's been on YouTube. Was it Escape Reality? Escape from Reality. That's his channel. And his channel, he's constantly live streaming. But sort of his main thing is to go to all these events or things that push the limits of what humans can stand. Like, it shows that he got buried alive in a box, not a coffin, but like a wooden box. Goes to those like extreme haunted, interactive haunted houses where they like hold you underwater and stuff. So doing anything for views and likes. And for his 10th anniversary, he's with this other influencer named Dash, his girlfriend, Dash's girlfriend, I think it's his girlfriend, and Cole's lifelong friend, Thomas. Dash had set up this extreme escape room in Russia, and they're gonna live stream the whole thing. And yeah, it turns into a very weak, very weak Saw film. Well, I'm not going to say that yet. I'll save that for spoilers. But I mean, there's not much to the earlier part of the film. I mean, yeah, there's some sketchy stuff. Like, could they meet up with this Russian fan named Alexei, who somehow everywhere they go, Alexei's able to call, and there's drivers already ready for them. There's and something about like a gang maybe being after him or an altercation at a party. There's really not much to this, like the first half. So they get to the escape room, and it kind of has a theme that it's in like this prison and like during the war. So they're like blindfolded, put in their own cells, and it's basically Cole is like the main Saw subject that has to save all his friends in these different cells. One guy's on a stretching rack, another one's in an Iron Maiden, uh, another one is in an electric chair, and his girlfriend is in this glass box that's filling up with water. And the cell across from him has the puzzle that he has to solve. I'm gonna have to say spoilers here because I can't go any further. But this movie really does, and the thing about it is it it feels like a movie that's trying to be part of a genre that ended years ago. I mean, I can't even remember the last big torture porn film. Yet torture porn isn't retro enough to have like a throwback, like to really feel like similar to like what Hatchet did, like with slasher films. That did a good job at evoking the '80s slasher films. So torture porn isn't old enough to really kind of put on the nostalgia goggles and really try to recreate everything. So it really does feel like a film that's way past its prime or way past the death of a subgenre. There's not much to it at all. Even in the second half of the film, when the Saw portion ends, like the escape room ends and it becomes a Hostel film, or the first Hostel film, you can pretty much tell where it's going because it follows the the plot beats so consistently. But I mean, as a movie, I'm sure it's better than say Turistas or Captivity, but that's not saying much. But yeah, uh, there's not much I can say about it. I thought it was gonna have some sort of meaning about, you know, why do millions of followers matter when those closest to you are in trouble? Because even in the beginning of the escape room stuff, even though he doesn't have his phone, it's hooked up to the security cameras. So he's going up to the cameras like, yo, I'm gonna use these gears to save my friends, hit that like button. And it felt like it was, at first, it felt like, hey, would it be cool to see someone, because at first he kind of acts like one of the Paul brothers, not as bad, but would it be cool to take someone like them or a group of them and put them in a Saw situation and just watch them get tore up? It doesn't do that either. So I guess if you want to be reminded of an era of torture porn, go ahead and check it out. But it's going to be very predictable. And I'm sure if you really think about it, you might be able to figure out the ending. I didn't see it coming. I liked it, but yeah, spoilers now. I liked the ending, not the movie, so now spoilers. So he's able to save all his friends. He solves all the puzzles. But then when they go to leave, it looks like that Andre guy and the ones that put him in the escape room were killed. And these two guys from the altercation at the party from earlier are there. They kidnap them. They wake up in this warehouse where Cole has to escape his room, and he has to maneuver his way through this dungeony looking warehouse. And he sees one of his friends, Dash, kind of like the first guy in Hostel. He gets drilled a few times. He sees him get killed. He sees Dash's girlfriend get killed. I don't even remember how. Uh, he he's able to get to a door that has like a keypad. He remembers, oh, that weird driver gave me this. I didn't know what it was. So he's able to get out. The driver's there, but he tells him to leave. He gets in the car. He's in a car, good to go, and his conscience gets the best of him. He's like, I gotta save my friends. So, like in Hostel, makes it to a car, makes it further than he should have, makes it to a car, good to go. Conscience gets the best of him, has to go back in. Finds his friend Thomas. They maneuver their way through the building a bit more. And Thomas dies by fall, like the Asian woman in Hostel. Of course, Hostel was more suicide. This was more sacrificial. Because they had these big guys, shirtless, with bloody black aprons and like a skull mask, going around looking for him. They open this elevator shaft. He's running towards them. Thomas pushes Cole out of the way and he tackles him down the shaft. And you find out this other guy, Andre, who I guess is the head of this gang, he tortures people in the dark web. So he's a streamer as well. So I thought it was going to have like a parallel type thing like that. Like, oh, he was doing this escape room, I'm looking for the most extreme things people can do for views. Yet this guy's actually torturing people. Bit of a standoff with Aaron tied to a chair, but the Andre guy ends up shooting her. And then he hides in a room just when they're trying to come in, just when he thinks it's all over. He sees an opening. Oh, which also before that, he's sneaking around. I think this is before his girlfriend gets killed. He sees the guys, the Andre and his guards, talking to that Alexi guy. So the one he's been with that helped set all this up is now in on it. Kind of like the scene in Hostel when he sees the guy from the beginning, the two prostitutes, and he runs them over. So they're trying to come in the room. He finds a way out, and there's just this dark, Lynchian room with that Alexi guy holding his phone. He's like, hey, you made it. Told you it was extreme. He tackles him, punches him. He's got a revolver with no bullets. He just beats him to death. And then these screens come on that say Cole Turner. It's like this little 10-year documentary. And then all the lights come on. There's all these party tables and all his friends. They all come up and they realize, oh my god, he just killed that Alexi guy. No one dies in the movie. Now, one giveaway of that would be the fact that the escape room stuff, the Saw portion, he's able to save everybody. No one dies. Even when it comes to Erin, his girlfriend, in the box of water, he kind of has to cheat to break her out. But everyone lives. So, probably could have figured at least the escape room stuff was fake. But, it looked convincing, not effects-wise. It's not a gory, bloody movie. Not much. Not as much as it should have been. So, like, when you see all his friends and his girlfriend walk up to him after he just beat this guy to death, and they're all scared. And, of course, you get the typical live stream with all the hearts and likes and all the comments. Like, oh my god, is that real? And every one of these movies does this. Fake. So fake. And so it's... I mean, I didn't see it coming. It's probably the most original part of the film, even though it is the April Fool's Day ending, or the surprise birthday party ending for the Silent Hill games. But that was really the only part of the movie I didn't see coming. Everything else, especially when it got to when they finish the escape room and they get kidnapped and it becomes hostile, at that point I pretty much knew what was going to happen. I was actually anticipating it. I was like, okay, he's in the car, which means he's going to have to go back in. Okay. The friend he's saving and is tagging along with him is going to die. He's going to find Alexei, figure out he was in on it the whole time. He does. And then it just ends with him sitting there, freaking out that he just killed this guy and it was all a put on by everyone. And then the end credits is more live streams and videos of all his friends setting this up. Okay. I mean, I like the idea of a Saw torture porn film via escape room. I know there's been a bunch of escape room horror films in the last few years. I do wonder what this would have been like if it stuck with the live stream camera footage like Spree. But it really just, I can't even say this movie's piggybacking off of anything because torture porn ended so long ago. I don't even think there was any real major torture porn films in the 2010s. I mean, there was The Collection, but that was a sequel. There was the Saw sequels that came out during that time, but yeah, no one dies during the escape room part, and then it becomes a very predictable, hostile rehash in the second half. The ending was fine. It did a decent job at trying to create the atmosphere, the lighting, camera work of those kinds of films. I like the set design. The set design was enough to evoke thoughts of those films. The gotcha ending was the best part of the movie. And, I don't know what it was trying to say. I don't know if there was any kind of social commentary with that or satire or anything. Just because the rest felt so copied, that I don't know what it was trying to say. But yeah, I could definitely say it's in the ballpark of 27, maybe 30 something percent. It's yeah, it just feels like a torture porn film that's way too late to the party. In fact, the party's over, and it's a subgenre that's not retro enough to feel like a throwback. I mean, I can appreciate the idea, taking this douchey social media influencer, putting him through this ordeal, but yeah, the whole movie was very predictable, save for that ending, which I'm sure if I had thought more about, because the deaths did look convincing, and it does. The end credits do show like them putting latex on, and when the guy got tackled down the elevator shaft, it showed him landing on a mattress, but there's really not much to this movie. I can see why people might not really like it, or why it has the reviews it does. But yeah, I talked about this longer than I wanted to. I thought this could have been an easy 10-minute review, but I have a habit of rambling. So yeah, there's a couple more Hulu films that I wanted to review. There's No Exit, Hunter x Hunter, Wounds. I watched those. I got to review those. And then there's more of the Into the Dark series that I have to watch and review. So stay tuned for more, and thank you for watching.